That's an American-run platform. Look, as we've just been saying, it just got a lot harder to navigate the murky world of online misinformation. Fake news is now so rampant. So the question is, how do we make sure that the information we consume and share is legitimate? And might some sort of media literacy training be the answer? Well, there may be a need for it. When we look at 18 to 16-year-olds in Australia, 43% say they can't tell whether a news story is real or fake. So we caught up with some students from St Patrick's Morris College in Sydney who were recently finalists in a school newspaper competition, who are pretty cluey when it comes to fact-finding.
I don't really have a lot of access to social media, but I do get a lot of my news from sites like YouTube, even though it's not really the most reliable.
When my mum watches the news at night, I'll normally look over her shoulder and, look at what's on in TV.
I have social media, so that pops up on my feed every day. Even Google, there's always that little sidebar underneath the Google search bar. And I always find quite some interesting articles there.
There's definitely a big worry with wondering if what you're reading is true. I think people are now beginning to understand and are starting to combat, the fake news, and obviously in school people are starting to learn how to double check your sources.
I really think it's difficult to tell fake news. I feel like that's what people get trapped in. We want to believe certain things because we want to have our opinions validated and we want to be validated ourselves. And so I feel like that's how fake news gets really consumed.
I feel like most of the time I am able to differentiate between the real news and the fake news. I do have a lot of trust in bigger news sources like ABC, 7 News, but with smaller ones that are pretty much entirely based online, I'm a tad more iffy because some of them can just seem outlandish. Just from the headline you can be like, oh, is that even news?
Websites especially are really good now at making them look professional, and so I think it's just slightly going with your gut feeling, does this sound right? Is it too good to be true?
I always read the URLs now because you can see .com or .org or .au or .gov. That's really important to look at.
I think fake news will still always be there, but I think people will learn how to evolve and how to, combat that themselves.
I lean on the side of caution because there's always going to be some fake news.